this session of product design and value engineering. In today's session, we will discuss a generic or typical product development cycle. What is product development cycle and what are different stages of it or steps of it, and what is expected from you as a design engineer to perform in each and every stage of it. That we will be discussing in today's session. First, let us see how a generic product design cycle looks like. It will start with planning, then there will be a concept development. After developing a concept, you will design a system level design, then you will go for a detailed design. After detailed designing, you will build a prototype or you will make a simulation model. And then you will test or your prototype or simulated model. After testing, if it is required, then you revise or improvise your system or model, and if it is satisfactory for you, you can go for the production. So this product development cycle comprises of all the stages starting from planning to production itself. So let us discuss what we are expected to do in each and every stages of that. Before that, let us first revise all the stages. The first one is planning, then concept development, then system level design, then detailed design, then prototype building or modeling, then prototypes or simulated model testing. First build prototype, then test it. Then if necessary do revisions and improvements, and if it is satisfactory, then go for production. Remember that even though I have shown it here as a flow, a single process, it is a highly iterative and repetitive process. So you have to go to the previous steps again and again to rethink your models or to rethink the ideas you have generated. So make sure that whenever you designing the product, you go through each stage multiple times because it will be required. Now, in planning stage, what are we doing? We are planning our product. So what and why we plan our product very carefully? Because it is the most active stage where higher management will be involved. Because higher management will always focus on planning itself. After planning, they will tell their engineers to say that okay, now we have given you the plan, you can execute it. So higher management or higher authorities will involve in the planning of new products, which products should be manufactured, how the product should look like. All these activities will be in this planning. So basically planning will give you an idea of how or what type of product you are manufacturing, what issues you are addressing of customers. Also, what factors are affected for the selection of your product. All these will be considered in the planning. When we discuss or say that the type of product is decided, what we mean by type of product, we mean that if your product will be addressed to mass customers, will it be a low cost, low price solution, or it will be for a niche market, it will be a high quality, high cost solution. That will be decided in the planning stage as well. After, the factors that affect the selection are available technology, which technology you have available, which manpower, how much manpower that you have available, the market segment that you are targeting, and market potential, what market potential is there. Are your market is group of 10,000 people, or are your market is a group of 10 lakh people? That will be decided in the planning itself. And constraints, what constraints are there in your markets or in your products, that also will be decided in the plannings. And the financial budget, that will be decided by the top management. How much budget do you have to make the product, and what are the expected profits or expected benefit from the product. This will be decided in the planning stage itself. After planning, you will expect to develop a concept. So after top management have told engineers to make a particular product or to design a particular product because they want to sell it, of course, then the first thing you do is you will make a concept. You will generate some ideas, some innovative ideas to decide what your product should look like and how it should achieve its desired functions. Functionality is very important here, but to achieve a particular functionality, there can be many concepts. For example, if you want to make a product, then first question is how you can satisfy customers' needs. What technologies can be used to satisfy these customer needs? Which options do you have to address those needs to make the particular product? What are the capabilities and limitations of each of the available options? What is the best option that you think that this will be the best option? All these questions should be asked in concept development process before going into concept development process, and after that you start to design your concepts. Then you will go for a system level design. Now what is system level design? System level design is a brief idea or overview of different design or concepts that can be achieved. Here we are not worried about how each and every component will function. We are only worried about which systems will be required. For example, if you are manufacturing a car, then your system level design you will consider which shape of the car will be there. What different powertrains or gear drives will be there, how you will achieve your power, what auxiliary systems will be needed. You are not going into details or dimensions, but you are just having an overview on different systems that are required. For example, you will think about major components and assembly only. All the small components, all the standardized components you will not think about. For example, as we had discussed that if you are making a system level design of a car, then this is what a system level design of a car will look like. Here we are only worried about how the car is, how the aesthetics of the car are, how much it will have, what dimension it will have, what power train it will have, does it have diesel engine or petrol engine, will it have a front wheel drive or rear wheel drive or four wheel drive. All we are only focusing on those bigger questions. We are not thinking about what dimension should be there for a small little boat, because we are only worried about the systems here. After that, we are deciding major specifications that are to be met. For example, for the car, what major specification can be there? So, for the car, major specifications can be top speed or the maximum power. So, we are only focusing on those major specifications. Then we think about make or buy decision of major components. For example, for car, an engine is major component. So, we are making a decision of either we should buy an engine or we should manufacture the engine in-house. And approximate shape and size of the product is finalized in system level design. So we are finalizing that my car's dimension should be limited to this and the shape will look like something this. There can be minor deviations in system level design and final design, but a major part of the design will be fixed, major part of outlay will be fixed. Then in detail design, what we will do is Continuing with our cars example, we will take our product and we will think about each and every component that is required in our product, and we will design each and every component with its required dimensions, how it will fit, how it will be assembled, and all these details will be worked out in this detailed design. After the designing is complete, okay, we have already discussed it, dimensions, material required, the drawings, and all this will be discussed in detailed design. And which components need to be brought out and which components need to be manufactured in-house, this will also be discussed in the detailed design. Also, the modeling softwares to analyze motion and strength are to be covered during the detailed design. And the special tooling and inspections process, because if when we are designing, we also specify how we will inspect those parts. So all this will be considered under detailed design. After designing is complete, we will build a prototype or model to simulate. This is the example of a physical prototype, and those physical prototypes are very costly because we are only manufacturing single part, and manufacturing of single part, as you know, will be costly. As we increase the level of production, the cost per part will be reduced. But for producing a single part, you have to produce the customized dies, you have to make some customized manufacturing process, you have to make customized toolings, and you have to write a part program which will be time consuming. You have to make manufacturing process flow and all that, and it will be time consuming and costly. So prototypes are very costly, and as you are building the prototype for the first time and it is new design, then risk of failure will also be high. So there are chances that once you build your first prototype, it will fail. Then also again you revise your design and you build your second prototype and you are not satisfied with that either, and you build your third prototype and you build so many prototypes. But also each prototype will cost a large amount of money. So it is a very costly process. So instead of building this prototype to make a very costly affair, if you are building a prototype which is revision of some existing product, for example, there is a mobile phone there and you are just improving some specification, you are just adding some specification, some changes in design, then those prototypes can be easily built and they will be comparatively less costly, but still they are costly affairs. So instead of that, if you are manufacturing a new product, then instead of building prototype, we can go for simulation, computer simulation, because computer simulation are not as costly as the prototype. Computer simulation can be done very easily because you already have your design and then you have to simulate it to check that your design works properly or not. And there make you avoid very silly mistakes. They make sure that your design is functional. They make sure that it is its motion and all the components are proper. They are not intertwined or they are not contradicting one or another. So these are very helpful. After you are satisfied with the model, computer model, you can go for the prototype. Then once you have built your prototype or simulation model, then you have to test that. So how can we test that? If you have a prototype, you can test your model for its strength, for error, for chances of improvement, if there is any chance of improvement, or to check if all the customer needs are satisfied. Here, As you can see, there is testing going on of car. Here they are doing a crash test of car to check that when the car crashes, the airbags open in time and no harm is there for the driver, and the car will work properly or car will survive the crash. And as we are doing this crash on a prototype, so prototype are already very costly, right? And we are destroying that prototype for the purpose of testing. So this will be a very costly affair. So instead of, what we can do is we can test for specification like speed of bike, mileage of engine, or pressure head of pump, etc. Flow rate. We can test for so many specifications. There will be so many specifications available. But instead of doing those tests on a what we can say physical models or physical prototypes, we can use simulated models, which will be more helpful because these simulation models are not as costly and they do not destroy after the test. Because if you are doing what we can say this crash test on single model, you can perform thousands or hundreds of thousands of crash tests on the same model. You need not to build the model again and again, and it will be a fast process, very fast and very iterative process to test on a simulated model. After you have performed this, you think about if there is any chance of improvement. So, because when you are making a new design for the first time, it will be very difficult to make it perfect in your first attempt. So what you will do is you will try to improve it, and you check that if there is any chance for improvement. Are the customer specifications that they have given are the same that your product will. So you give your product to the customer and they give you some feedbacks, and then you check if there is any misinterpretation or not. You check for overestimations also. If customer wants some device that can that can lift a weight of 100 kgs, you build a device that can they can lift a weight of 150 kgs only. You do not build a device that can lift up to 1000 kgs. So this is all that need to be considered. Then you check for underestimations also. You should build a device that can at least lift 100 kg. If your customer specifications are 100 kg. If you can lift only 50 kgs, then it will be an underestimation. Then you can check if you are achieving all target specifications or not, and you can revise this process again and again until you are satisfied. Once you are satisfied, you can go ahead with the production. But for example, here we have taken this bicycle. If you want to manufacture a bicycle which will be very elegant and very futuristic in design. So this is your first prototype, first model. But now you see that okay, this is good, very good, but I want to make still some changes, still some improvement. So you build a second prototype, which is better than the first one. This second model has less component, it has less curves, but you think that there are still chances of improvement, because here we can see that on the wheel side there is a big chunk of material there which does not look very good. So then you can go for this type of model, which is very sleek in design, very futuristic, and you are satisfied with this. Then you will build this and you will go in the production stage. In the production stage, you this is last stage of production, product development. we do not directly go on a full-fledged production. Why? Because we want to check that what we have produced are in alignment of customer demand. So we give samples to customers and employees and we check that it works properly or not, we have satisfied the specifications, their demand or not, and then we can go for mass production. If during our first trials, if we feel that we need some modifications, then we can do those modifications there. After that, we go for various tools that are required before the mass production, and then we go in the mass production. So this will be all for today's session. Thank you.